What is going on here? Wow, okay. How is this even possible? That's not how it works. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are at Kembara Zoo and we're just gonna start the video off with a speed build. So we're gonna finish up the habitat here, get some decorations in and just make it all look pretty before we move on to our next habitat. So let's get to it. So first of all, I really wanted to say thank you to all of the people who commented on the previous episode of the series. Getting feedback is really helpful to me since I haven't really had too much experience with making YouTube videos yet, and I'm really having so much fun with making these videos. So it absolutely makes me so happy to see that a few people are already watching my channel right from the start. I'm gonna talk a bit about one of the comments that said the episode was a bit slow, and I absolutely agree with that. So going forward now, we're really gonna focus a bit more on the speed builds and then explaining more of the process and my thoughts and stuff like that through voiceovers while you just kind of see the build in the background. And this is just so that the videos doesn't have to be as long as the previous one was either, and this one is already a lot shorter, which I think is just so much better for all of us really. And like, we're still doing some real-time comments, but I really have to find a better balance just to make sure that we keep a nice flow and that we have a nice pace going. And as for our build here, I just have to say I really love that we chose the pandas for this habitat, just because they naturally live in these sort of mountainous regions in China, so I'm really gonna try to keep the animals' natural habitats in mind for the future enclosures in the zoo as well. And it won't always be possible, of course, just because we have limited space and everything has to work well together. I also really wish that there was an option in this game to see which plants naturally grow together, because I really don't think any of the plants I'm adding here would realistically be found in the same environment. But I really just wanted to add lots of plants and create this very lush and green environment for them, like very similar to what they would naturally have in the forest that they come from. And so for me personally, I find that creating habitats that I'm genuinely happy with in Planet Zoo is all about finding the right balance between actually allowing myself to be creative, but also trying to have this understanding of where the animal comes from. And really just all the individual needs that the animals we care for have. And that's really why I wanted to build a climbing structure for the pandas as well in the previous episode. Just because even though the game doesn't think pandas need climbing, I know that they need climbing and I know that they love to climb. So just because it's so natural for them to climb, then we're gonna do that. So we're not just gonna focus on the game's rules here. We're playing by real world facts, basically. So that's really all I'm doing here, and I'm not gonna explain too much of what I'm doing right in this speed build. Like, I think it's pretty obvious. We're just decorating, and we do end up putting down a lot of bamboo just because the pandas love bamboo. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I think they eat between like 10 and 30 kilos of bamboo daily, so that's quite a lot. And therefore we just end up planting a bunch of bamboo trees, and then we'll just have to pretend that the pandas are eating it. Because I know that it's a zoo and stuff, so they don't really need it, but that's what they would do in real life, so that's what we're doing here. So I'm just gonna leave you with the music for now, and then I'll see you soon. I think we're ish done with this habitat right now. I don't know, I might have overdone it. I know I said in the last episode that I was never gonna overdo it, but I might have. But yeah, this is what it is right now, so please let me know if you think it's too much, because I'm really not sure. I kind of like it. It makes it feel very like natural, like the pandas actually live in the forest like they normally would, but I'm not sure. So I think we're just gonna speed time up a bit to get some more money, just so that we can maybe get started on our second habitat. That's gonna be right here. Oh my god, Inspector has left? I never even noticed he was coming. What did we get? 4 stars? Is it because of the education? I mean, we do have education boards and speakers. What can we do to improve that? Let's see. I'm not sure why they're not satisfied with the education right now, because I feel like we have everything we need, but guess not. We'll have to do better next time, I guess. Also, we have another achievement. Earn a yearly drink profit of $500. We did that, so we're gonna claim the reward, as well as increase giant panda education rating to 4%. Okay, gonna get that as well. That's great. Oh, you're so cute. Wow. I love seeing them use it. I mean, the animations are a bit wonky here. Like, they always climb here, it seems like, and it just looks ridiculous. Just look at that. That's just not how it's supposed to work. Oh my gosh. Well, he seems happy though. This is not healthy. It's really not. What are you doing? So we're gonna get started building a habitat here. I have sort of a plan for what I want to do. I just have to keep the game running a bit because I used most of our money on the habitat here, so gotta be a bit careful. So for the build here, I already had sort of an idea of what I wanted to accomplish, although it didn't really go as smoothly as I was hoping it would, but that's fine. So I just started with these drywall window pieces, and I also wanted to add some one-sided glass, just so that we can have a nice viewing area here without stressing out the animals too much with all the people. And I really like using this sort of natural barriers for viewing areas, as it means we don't really have to do much maintenance like we usually do with the standard barriers that tend to break down quite often. And also I just feel like it looks a lot more natural, and it gives us so much more room to be creative. What I will say though is that things didn't really go exactly as I planned with this build, so we do end up changing quite a few things along the way. And so what I'm doing now is mainly just a vague outline of how I want everything to end up. I'm honestly not completely satisfied with the results of the build, but it does the job and will probably look a lot better once we get to decorate it a little bit more. But yeah, so as you can probably tell, the idea is to create this sort of overhanging area that the animals can come all the way up to the path here, and then hopefully give the guests a very close and sort of intimate experience with the animals. And then at first I started with these green pieces on top here, and while I do like that it brings in a bit more nature and just overall this greener look, I'm not entirely convinced that it was the best idea, but we're sticking with it for now, and then we can just change it later if it doesn't feel right once everything comes together. So just let me know with the end result if you like how it turns out, or if we should just change it into something a bit more architectural, because I really don't mind testing out different options and styles. Now here I was just testing out making a wall with these tree trunks, kind of similar to what we did in the panda habitat, but in the end I really just feel like they seemed very misplaced and forced into this area. Like, I think the pieces can work great as barriers in general, and like especially in places where there is a lot of rock work and mountains and stuff, but when I just placed them in this awkward corner over here, it didn't feel quite right. So we end up just deleting those, and then we'll see if we can find another solution to connect these areas. So then I felt like we really needed to make a cover for these shops over here, and I have seen quite a lot of people make these fancy backstage areas, but then mainly for staff buildings, but I thought it would work just as well to use the same idea, but just for connecting a shelter to the shop buildings instead. So we're still sticking with the same drywall theme that we had for the viewing area, just to make everything feel coordinated and keep a clean theme going around the habitat. And like I've mentioned previously, I always struggle with the roof pieces in this game. I just feel so limited by them, to be honest. I don't know if that's just me, but it's definitely a recurring issue that I keep having. For example, there was this ugly edge from the top piece of the roof here, and I just had no idea how to cover it up, to be honest, so I just decided on covering it with a sign, which is fine for this build really, as I was already planning on naming the shops. And I mean, I don't know if it looks weird with just a wooden sign randomly stuck on the roof here, but it seemed like the best option to me at least. But yeah, so then I had to decide on a name for the shop section here, and what I ended up with was Fantastic Shops. It just felt like a cute and fun name to me at the time, and I'm not sure how you guys feel about puns like that. My humor could really just be way off. Kinda like it, so if you come up with any good puns for the different enclosures and stuff in the future, then don't hesitate to make a suggestion, as I really do enjoy these kind of cheesy puns. Maybe a bit too much, really. But yeah, something else that really bothers me with the roof pieces here is that each piece is marked as a separate building, so you can't really duplicate multiple pieces at once. And then it just ends up being so much unnecessary work with having to duplicate them all separately. And there might absolutely be an easy fix to this, because I'm pretty sure I've actually duplicated whole roofs previously, but it just didn't seem to work this time. And I honestly I can't see why it would be an issue. So if you have any tips or solutions to this, it would save me a whole lot of trouble in the future. So I would really appreciate that. And so the building here is just way too close to the path and it doesn't look quite right. Therefore, we're just gonna see if we can move it over a bit. I feel like the rest of the speed build is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just gonna leave you with some music for now, and then I'll get back to you once we're ready to get our animal into the habitat. So I have decided that we're gonna do the Gharials for this one. So let's just go to the trading center. See if we can refresh here. Yeah, we only have 2 options. That's not great. There was literally just a female here, so that's so typical. I mean, fertility isn't super important for this one because we don't need many successful pregnancies. We just really need 1 because they get so many babies and the babies take a really long time to grow up. So I think this should be fine actually. So we're gonna take that one. Oh, here we have our first Gharial. Oh my god, he's so big. What are you doing? You're just walking about in the same place? I get that. So that was really just a small break so that you could see me putting the first Gharial in, because this is actually originally where I finished the video. But I honestly could not sleep that night just because I was not at all happy with how we left the habitat. So like I told you earlier, we do end up changing quite a few things, and the first one being that we move the viewing area further out and then add a second path next to it. I just felt like the space got so cramped and not to mention just plain boring. So I really just needed to find a way to bring some life to it and just make sure the guests have enough space, since the panda habitat and the Gharial habitat are so close together. Then it really helped to just open up the space a bit. And then I just need to fill in the gap between the paths here, so we just add a bunch of greenery and try to make it a little bit prettier. And I have to say, I really am a lot more satisfied with how everything looked once we're done with this final speed build. So I'm really glad my sleepless night got me to give it another go. But yeah, I just wanted to explain what happened here real quick, and then you'll get some more details once we finish up the speed build here. So before we leave, we are actually able to get a female in here. So we're just gonna quickly do that. We're gonna adopt this one. She has a decent fertility and immunity. Not the best size and longevity, but that's fine. So let's do that. Okay, that's perfect. What an ending. I love that. Okay. Oh, there she goes. So let's hope these two get along. So I'll give you a quick tour of what we've done here. We made this shop and I just called it Fantastic Shops because I thought it was a fun pun. So a fun pun. That's fun. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so we have that. We have our information center and the shops and stuff. And then there's this little shelter in the back for the animals here. And I really want to focus as much as possible on getting natural barriers into this zoo. So I've given that a go here and I feel like it works. It's pretty okay. Just have to figure out how to make a smooth transition over to the mountain here. Also, I might remove the bottom floors here because they don't really fit the theme and it's just not that pretty. So we might just do plain grass and stuff over here. I'll have to see next time what we come up with. And originally I just placed a viewing area here along the path, but I thought it got a bit too cramped and you can see people are even bottling up here. So it's still a bit tight. We might have to make it even bigger, but now people are obviously gathering along these two habitats because those are all the animals we have. So it makes sense. Once we get a path along the side here and stuff, there won't be as much need for the people to crowd up over here. And we might even just get rid of this curve here so that there's more room to look over the panda habitat right there. And I just added some conservation boards over here. So this one is ecotourism. Here we have population fragmentation and here we have traditional medicine. So I thought that worked quite nice with the bamboo here. And on the top over here, we're gonna add sort of a big plaza area with a big building in the middle. I'm not sure what kind of theme we're gonna go with since we've done like this particular Asian type of style building. Maybe we should do like some Indian stuff or something on top of here. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure it out. But I think this is gonna be a decent zoo once we get everything sorted. Okay, so that's really gonna have to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit the notification bell. As always, feel free to leave a comment if you have any suggestions or things you would like to see in my videos. That's always appreciated and I love getting feedback, so absolutely go do that. I post gameplay videos every Friday and tutorials every Tuesday, so remember to stick around for that and I'll see you next time.